Manchester!
Have it!
Who wants some fucking Chinese? A up our kids. You all right? Proper have here in Manchester.
Nailed it.
What's up, guys? I'm Jimmy.
I'm Larry.
Hey. We are here with Lee Stuart, the Senior Marketing Manager for Europe, and Sam Pearce, Creative Design Manager for New Balance Made in UK. Guys, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Our pleasure.
Sam, you owe us because you bailed on our call earlier.
Yeah.
What the fuck was up with that?
Yeah,
Couldn't do 5 minutes on Zoom.
We're going one and done with this.
Thank you.
30 minutes, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Well, both your job titles have a lot of words in them. What the hell do either of them mean? Lee, you go first. You're the new guy.
So I am the new guy. I joined New Balance a year ago. My job entails being the bridge between the global marketing team and the marketing teams in Europe. So yeah, we have teams in all the countries in Europe. And
Which country do you like the least? France?
Your words, not mine.
Yeah.
No.
He likes everyone on the
I
record.
feel like I have great relationships with everyone.
Correct answer.
Yes.
That was a test you passed.
You will go far.
Yeah. Sam, Creative Design Manager for New Balance Made in UK. That's 19 words. What the hell do you do?
It's a good question. That is shortened, which is pretty
What's the
funny.
longer version?
But let's not go into
Okay,
that. Let's
all right.
keep it very made in UK. So
Only 30 minutes.
yeah, I drive creative direction and new designs with a small team here, design team based out of the Manchester office, and yeah, with a focus on made in UK, my New Balance love.
When did you first fall in love with New Balance? Like, what was that moment?
Actually, growing up as a kid, sports was very much the driver for the 1990s and Michael Jordan, Andre Agassi. It wasn't until Sneaker Freaker magazine came out, I think maybe like the third magazine, there was this article about New Balance Made in UK and Flimby. And that was the first time a sneaker brand felt like I was close to it, because obviously all the brands are US based, made in Asia. So
So they're giving everyone a factory tour, ourselves included, is what you're saying.
yeah.
Okay.
Anybody, come along.
For real, the factory tour is fucking sick. For anyone
yeah.
that has a chance, if you ever find yourself in Flimby for whatever reason, hit the factory.
But don't feel special.
You won't, but you won't. You're very lost if you've gone there for anything else. I
So
feel.
it really was the British production, the being home to you that's when you felt connected to it.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, it felt like all the other brands were driving from America, and that was the one thing that felt like, from a UK perspective, that I could be part of and play into and feel connected to. And I'm sure, like, a lot of people feel the same in that sense.
What about you, Lee? When did you fall in love with the brand?
For me, it was also early 2000s, though. It was Sneaker Freaker and Crooked Tongues. Those guys were invited to Flimby, and they got a chance to make their own, to walk away with their own
Oh, wow.
custom pair
We did not.
made from scraps and stuff. And I was like, yo, I need to visit one day. Like, that's incredible. They make shoes, they make sneakers in the UK. What? And people walk away with their custom pair? Nah, I have to visit. And I guess that planted the seed, you know?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, we are here to celebrate the new Allerdale model. Are these sneakers?
You pronounced it perfectly.
Yeah. Is that okay? Are these sneakers or shoes?
Well, I'm going shoe,
Okay.
but New Balance kind of got a history in this. Back in 1982, we designed a new hiking shoe for Lou Whitaker, who was the first American to go up Mount Everest.
Famous
And-
ad.
Yep.
You couldn't pay me to wear these shoes at Mount Everest, I believe. is the
Yes.
quote. Yeah.
There we go.
It's in the reception room of the factory. That's how we know. That's how we know.
First thing you see when you go to Flimby.
Like,
okay?
yo, Lawrence knows his fucking
you threw
history.
me. I was
man.
like,
I can
wow.
read.
I was like,
Contrary to popular belief, Lawrence is literate.
Yeah.
For the record.
but basically, hiking boots and climbing shoes have been the same for 100 years. And New Balance flipped the script and started using their running technology in it, using foams, using meshes to create something lighter and more durable. And so we've done the same. We've put fresh foam into the midsole. Comfort Story, we're using that on our performance running shoes right now. So, there's a crossover between sports shoe and walking shoe, but we used a very like formal shaped last. So yeah, definitely leaning into that walking.
And how heavily will these be tariffed for U.S. customers now that we're in a trade war?
Yeah.
If
Lee, you wanted to get political, you said, right? You said you get political?
Definitely
Yeah,
your
That's
answer.
you.
I think we're keeping it light today, but yeah, I mean, ask your president. I don't
Worth every penny.
Okay, I'll tweet at him.
You know, it might work. He might get back at you.
Yeah, sorry, I'll X at him.
Wait, just real quick. What's the process like, just in a nutshell, of like creating something like this from scratch?
Well, I kind of got obsessed with the like New Balance's history in walking maybe 10 years ago, and I've been pushing for something like this because it's very authentic to us. The brand started in 1906 and basically did orthotics. So the whole story of the brand was walking.
It was before they invented running, 1906.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. People walked everywhere.
Walked, crawled, you know,
Things were a little
whatever.
slower back then.
So it was really an opportunity for us to tell that story and jump off the fact we did a whole walking line in the 80s and 90s too, and which was also made in the UK in those factories. So it's like a continual thing, but also a bit of an education piece, which you can nerd over.
I mean, you've been trying to get the Allerdale shoe in the New Balance rotation for 10 years. What the fuck took you so long?
New Balance has been hot the last 5, but before that, it was, you know, we were trying to find our feet again.
Okay.
No pun intended.
Is that a sneaker joke? Is it going to take
I wrote that one down earlier.
Is it going to take you 10 years to design the next model?
Maybe.
Damn, he's milking it, guys.
Yeah. How are you going to celebrate on drop night?
Yeah.
I've done this a long time. I've been at New Balance 15 years. I don't know if celebration is.
And you've made one shoe in 15 years?
No, I hope not.
Lee, how are you going to celebrate?
I'm just gonna be in bed, man.
Oh, yeah?
Honestly, yeah. I have 2 kids. I have another one on the way. Let me chill.
Do you sleep with the rings on?
I do not sleep with the rings on. I take them off to wash my hands.
Nice.
To go
But the
to
grills are
bathroom, all
perms.
those
We
things.
found that out earlier. Those are permanent.
It's facts.
Hell yeah.
So we just got back from Flimby. As you can tell, we're just proper not good. And we did get to tour the New Balance Made in UK factory. We came away with like a lot of perspective gained and honestly appreciation and like for like the craft and the, even though it's, you know, machines and systems,
Robots.
like the heart, the soul that goes into it. What do you come away with whenever you visit the area and you get to interact with the folks making the actual shoes?
Well, I go every 2 weeks, so
Oh my God.
I'd like to
You're
see
like, I'm over it.
Lee's opinion on this one.
So I just interact with a few of the people there.
Yeah.
I try to let the people that are just actually making the shoes just do their thing. Obviously, they're all knowledgeable. Some of them have a long history. You know, there's generations of people working there. But the feeling that I walk away with is just like, you know, pride. Like I work for this company, and there's a whole community of people really working there. It's beautiful to see how important the factory is for the area. And also how much we value it as a company. I think that's really, really special, the dedication to domestic manufacturing.
There's a woman just like making sure every eyelet is perfect
Literally, yeah.
for years now.
Yes.
It's inspiring stuff.
She's also very good at it.
They're perfect circles from what I saw today.
Can you guys tell us what sets New Balance Made in UK product apart from the rest of New Balance product that we know and love?
Go for it.
Besides the price point?
Well, we opened a factory in the UK when at that time it was common to move all your production to Asia because it was cheaper. But Jim Davis decided that by having it here, we could be quicker to market changes and shifting in trends, style, things like that, which made sense at the beginning. But as time's gone on, what we've learned is that we can really utilize like the location of the factory to use the materials that like Europe's famous for. So our leathers, suedes, nubucks.
Pigskin, as they call it.
Pigskin. Like those, we're using the same supplies there as like the high-end brands. You know, we're able to do that because of our location and is here. We're not having to import it from Asia all the time or from the US. We can really focus in on like what Europe does best because we're based here. And that to me is the main thing that sets us aside in terms of a product point of view.
So like logistics and shit.
Oh yeah.
Could have just said that.
It's a good shoe. It's a quality shoe.
Yeah, in the short answer, I'll go with
What about you, Lee?
I mean, all New Balance is quality, you know?
Yeah.
So
That was the
it's
thing they kept preaching at the factory was quality before quantity.
Yeah, we want to be the best. That's the whole New Balance thing. We don't want to be the biggest. We want to be the best. And in Flimby, I feel like there's less pressure to be bigger. We just do what we think is important, and we've been doing it for a long time there. And yeah,
I think that's why we can do something like the Allerdale and let it breathe and be its own thing, because we don't have the same pressures of making 1 million pairs a week that we have to blast out. We can really take our time and like manifest on what the design needs to be and the materials.
We heard some numbers, very limited.
Very, very limited.
It was also like
Get them if you can.
when they got the new model, the Allerdale, they're like, look, you're not trying to hit quota on day one. You got to learn how to make it.
Yeah.
So like, it doesn't matter how many you make week 1, then week 2, we're closer, then week 3, we're closer, and then week 4, we're hitting like actual quotas and production numbers, which was like very not factory. Didn't expect to hear that from a factory.
Yeah, I think you got to look at it. It's like small batch, really. If you compare it to the way manufacturing is for factories, like you take Ford back when they invented that kind of production line, and the Ferrari was still making it by hand. We've kind of got this weird thing in the industry where we got this such like pirate ship of a factory kind of doing its own thing and making things still very much traditional.
You're the Ferrari of shoes, is what you just said.
But made in England.
You can take that quote.
The Jaguar of shoes.
Jaguar.
Ben-
I don't know if those are good cars or still or not. I don't know.
Aston Martin?
And there we go. We're in
British,
the right ballpark now.
Rolls Royce.
Oh.
Yeah, there it is.
We can name more cars.
Yeah.
We can kill some time if you want.
Bentley.
Bentley. Yeah, there you go.
Let's turn the spotlight on you guys real quick. All right. Let's turn the heat up. Besides the Allerdale, what is your most worn sneaker?
last couple of years, I'm gonna say 1300 JP, made in Japan.
Oh. What's a made in Japan New Balance like?
Ooh,
Next level shit?
Nah, it's really like it's butter, man. It's incredible. Like it's incredible. I don't know how to describe
I think
it.
New Balance has my address, so.
Yeah.
I can't even get them.
I mean, we make the 1300 JP once every 5 years, and this year is that year.
But this is something that, like, New Balance is still independent and not like a board of directors, so we can still like push these sort of narratives. And that 1300 JP is like once every 5 years, one colorway, and then you got to wait 5 years for the next drop. And you know, so it's completely out there. But
Sounds about your pace.
yeah,
What about you, Sam? What's your most worn sneaker?
991 V2,
Yeah.
which
Yeah, that's really
People
good.
seem really hype on the V2, even at the factory.
Made in UK, right?
main UK. That was what I was doing before the Allerdale.
Oh,
Just decided that one.
Improving on the original 991.
Well, yeah. So yeah, that's what I live in basically. Well, till these.
And it sounded like the 991 V2 is so successful that they're like retrofitting the 992 V1 to kind of like, right? Am I not allowed to say that?
You're close.
Okay.
You're,
A lot of numbers.
Yeah.
there is a lot of numbers. But yeah, you're right. That V1 can't just come back and coexist with it. We've got to figure out a way to plan both at the same time because the V2 is doing big numbers for us.
What's your favorite New Balance collaboration of all time?
So
You mentioned the Crooked Tongues.
Yeah, that was a big one for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go.
Well, I was just saying, because back then a collaboration was 97 pairs total. Like imagine that now, a shoe coming out, that release, we're talking
I
tens
don't
of
want to
thousands
imagine it
now.
because it means I can't get it.
Oh, and that's how much the industry's changed. Like sneakers was very nerdy back then. Now it's become this big commercial.
Yeah, now it's for
play.
jocks.
And it's so weird to think that the numbers were that tiny. But
Yeah.
One of my Crooked Tongues.
yeah, one of my favorite ones wasn't even a collaboration. It was like a Kawasaki
saw those.
Ninja. Yes,
The
they're
green.
so rare.
Those are sick, dude.
Yeah.
And they came out just for like a small team, made very few pairs, and it sort of became became legendary within the industry because people were talking about this Kawasaki Ninja 993, and no one really knew why. And it's never really come out, and I kind of like it like that. To why these were made. So.
Any pairs on StockX?
Honestly, some of those old pairs, because the numbers were so small on production, that they're selling for 10,000 pounds ago. It's insane.
I need to go back to that factory, pull a little heist, grab that right shoe off the
Get
wall.
one shoe.
We
Yeah,
thought
one
about
shoe,
it.
that's not
we
bad.
thought about it.
Yeah.
Lee, best favorite collaboration of all time?
So I got the chance to collaborate with New Balance a couple times
At Pat.
at Para, but also I don't know, as a consultant. I don't know. I had a project on a 920, and for me that shoe feels incredible still. Like when I wear it, I'm like, man, that's one of my proudest moments. The 920 MTA.
In the brown, right?
It's gray
yeah, that one.
with the MTA blue. Yeah, New
So you're
Balance.
biased, is what you're saying.
I'm totally biased, of course.
Oh,
Yeah, that's my
the
baby.
one you worked
but
on is your favorite? Wow.
Listen, it's not.
Shocker.
Listen, I'm very
Price
critical
going
of
up.
myself. I'm very critical of what I do. Like, there's not a lot of things that I've done where I'm like, man, that's really good. But that MTA one,
Really good.
fucking incredible. I'm telling you.
And did you nail that as
It was a
someone that
Dover
works?
Street Market exclusive.
Oh,
It's
shit.
gone instantly. I'm very proud of the campaign. I worked on it with friends. It speaks to New Balance that they gave me that chance to just do it. You
They had
know,
a
they
vision.
thought it was they had a vision. It was a good idea, and yeah.
Amazing.
And they gave you a job.
And
You did a
like,
good job. That's the ultimate cosign. They poached you.
You know, maybe that's how it went. There's
Fuck,
a
we
few
need this
years
guy.
between, but yeah, it happened.
I mean, if
This
you
guy
had
in our
fucked them up and it was a trash shoe, I don't think you're sitting in this seat
I don't
right
think
now.
I'm sitting in this seat if
Yeah.
I fucked them up. Yeah,
We'll
true.
never know.
We'll never know because I
Because
didn't
he
fuck
doesn't
them up.
miss.
Because I made an amazing shoe. Yes.
All right, real quick, while we have the big brain sitting here with us, we need a sneaker culture state of the union in 2025. Can you describe this current moment in sneaker culture that we're living in right now?
It's less nerdy. We got that.
Yeah.
Check that box. It's gone a little mainstream. Too mainstream?
What are like the broad strokes that you like? Describing broad strokes. Just like,
I mean, it's
Get critical.
It's any man's guess at this point, right? Like, I don't even really focus on what's going on outside because we should be focused on what we do. And again, just be the best at that, you know? So
You don't want to be influenced by other stuff? Or
I think, you know, we're trying to be focused on our craft. We're trying to be craftspeople. You know,
Right.
we're trying to be really, really good at what we do. And that means we don't have to look at others. We're not in competition. I don't feel like we just do what we do really well.
Yeah.
so is it a focus or refocus back on the product and letting that speak for itself almost?
For me, that's the appeal of New Balance. New Balance does the best footwear,
Yeah.
and that product speaks for itself. We don't have to do like crazy, slimy marketing tactics.
right. Celebrity endorsements that mean nothing. That kind of shit. I said it. It's cool. I said it.
I love all our ambassadors.
No, I
we
mean,
have really
obviously, shout out Shohei. I just mean like they all come from a real, like a true place in terms
Yeah,
of like,
and we-
they make
like-
sense.
we really always take like a boutique approach. We don't work with anyone just because they have the follower numbers
Right.
or anything. They really have to, you know, we have to have shared values. New
Right.
Balance is a family-owned business. It's independent. We do things because we think they're important. So we align with people that share our values, and it's not
Right.
a numbers game in
Yeah.
that sense.
People forget Kim Kardashian sold Skechers. Like that's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say.
There you
know?
go.
that
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
The ones that plump your butt.
Yeah. So maybe that didn't
Did
make
they?
sense.
Oh wow, that's
I don't know.
That's a
No, it's just bullshit.
it's sad.
It's a lie, like
I'll
everything
say,
else.
I'll
Sneaker
say,
culture state of the union.
well, things are going more formal, and that's maybe that may be a little bit of like sneaker fatigue.
Sneaker loafer.
Yeah,
Sneaker
like,
fatigue.
you know,
Snowfer.
And sneaker fatigue to me doesn't mean like people are just don't care about sneakers anymore. Like I'm in this because I love it, but people want other options. And I think that's where like the Allerdale comes in, the loafer comes in. I think we've seen some stuff recently with boat shoes now are kind of like making a bit of a play. So that's
Against
not,
all odds.
Not-
Personally.
not my thing either, but
Hell yeah.
but you can see that happening. What New Balance have is we have this great history that we haven't really spoken about a lot over the years. So the last 5 years, we've been bringing back retros that people think of like brand new models. And so it really allows us to like just put the stuff out that we think is right. but it really makes a big impact because people are seeing it for the first time, even though they came out 30 years ago,
Right.
20 years ago. So we're kind of having like a free run of being like banger, 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 which is great. You know, we finally had a voice to figure out like what we want to.
And people think you designed them all, but they're just from the closet.
So it's just my name on all of them.
Yeah.
Bring back.
What do you think the sneaker culture is moving on from and leaving behind? A lot, I hope.
Yeah, where to begin?
I think consumers are a lot smarter now. Like they don't like to be spoon-fed. They like to figure things out for themselves. They want to see real value in like the marketing story. They want to understand the history. And I think that's really the key. And I think that's one of the biggest learnings. Like
I think their bullshit detectors are
definitely
pretty keyed in.
Yeah,
Yes.
Red flags everywhere.
Yes.
Mhm.
Like
So the product becomes more important.
Exactly.
or like I mean, I think we are seeing less like just dumbass collaborations that are clearly just like a cash grab or
Hopefully.
just like a marketing ploy.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, I think I agree. I think I agree with that. Yeah.
You're like, how many bullshit collabs am I working on right now?
No. We don't work on bullshit.
No. Another
We
test passed with flying colors.
Woohoo!
But the consumer has gotten just a lot smarter, a lot like savvier.
Yeah, there's so much. You can find everything on the internet. All the knowledge is there. You know, like if you find what you like, you can go super deep down that rabbit hole and not fall for the okey doke.
Yeah, things can get completely oversaturated. So you really got to find something that's going to cut through.
True.
You know,
A lot of noise out there.
yeah.
Lee, as someone who spent many years in the streetwear trenches during your time at PETA, what are you bringing over to your relatively new career at New Balance Band UK?
Okay, so what I bring is
Like specifically from like that era and time that you spent at one of the GO streetwear brands.
certain bluntness,
Oh.
Yes, please.
conviction, resilience.
You killed your job interview, dude, for sure.
Some, I'm not gonna say authenticity, but realness. Like I like to do real things. I don't like bullshit. So we're trying to cut that out all the time.
Would your bluntness and no bullshit tactics work in other corporations or only in like small independent
I
places?
don't think they would work at other corporations, but New Balance, again, family-owned business. You feel it. It permeates the whole company culture, and it is actually quite similar to Pata in ways. Obviously, the scale of it is, a very different beast. I had to get used to that.
Sure.
But yeah, it's very real.
What about like coming from streetwear? What are you hoping to leave behind?
Just struggling for the budgets.
Okay. He's a bottom line guy. All right.
We
Respect.
plan. We plan for budgets here. That's
That's different than PETA.
that's the difference. I think.
I guess all streetwear really.
Yeah.
Be smart with the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Streetwear could learn a lot.
Tough out there, man. It's
Yeah.
tough.
So like from a marketing standpoint, what is actually resonating with customers these days when it comes to connecting with product? And don't say some bullshit like storytelling and authenticity. What is actually like moving the needle?
Man, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was gonna say storytelling and author. No, I was literally people will connect to good product. We love it when the product speaks for itself. When it's not sold to them, we show the product and what it stands for in our minds, and they connect to that, and we see it, we feel it. That's the feedback we get from people.
If you build it, they will come type of thing, right? Just
Yes,
make a good shoe and people want a good shoe.
Yeah. So
It's almost like counter programming to just the huge noise that we were seeing in sneakers and menswear of a few years ago. Like it's actually just the good shit will win out.
I think so. I think we're on the right track. I mean, we're
It's a running
successful. Oh, fuck. Yeah, you had one earlier. You said something that takes the soul out of it. And I was like,
Oh,
wow, I see what you did
I
there.
can't turn it off.
James.
My brain is broken. Please help me. Please. You guys got healthcare here, right? Sam, how big is your legendary New Balance archive?
just shoes or all the other shit? Because
All the other shit too. Yeah,
shit.
fuck it.
I want to know this.
Must be about 300 pairs of shoes.
Sheesh.
It's not bad.
50. Yeah, well, none of it's collaboration stuff. It's all old.
Okay.
So it's all like 1930s up to modern day.
1930s.
They had sneakers back then?
Yeah. So New Balance is old, man. It's like 50,
Clearly,
it's 50 years older than most other
before
sports
World
brands.
War II.
Yeah. So yeah, like 300 pairs of shoes.
Can you wear them? A shoe from the 30s?
You could. Well, yeah, actually, because there's the foam's mostly
Right.
the stuff that degrades, you
Yeah.
know. So back then it was all leather.
So they've actually stuck around.
yeah.
There's no like
so
synthetics.
Still,
There you go.
still use. Well, probably not usable, but
Yeah.
also people's feet were tiny and slim back then. I was like, I don't know what
Yeah.
happened in the
They
last
Before the
50
growth
years.
hormones and all
They
the
were,
chickens.
they were malnourished.
Yeah, you got depression shoes, dude.
Yeah, they're eating beans.
Yeah. They love their beans here. Be
Yeah.
careful what you say.
It was the OG
We're
Ozempic.
bean country.
I want to know about the other stuff though. You have all these
Yeah, what was the other stuff?
memorabilia.
Yeah,
and all that.
I've got like 30 caps. But New Balance has done so many marketing things over the years, especially out of Japan. There's just like weird and wonderful type stuff.
Mhm.
Chairs,
Chairs.
canes.
Is this in a storage unit or at your house? And does your wife want to divorce you?
It's all in my house. And my well, we once had Aurelie come and visit and shoot and take a look at
Oh, sick.
all the stuff.
Nice.
And they took a load of shots and she was pretty annoyed because they were taking shots that weren't just on of like just the collection. So yeah, things got
Why are there 12
creative.
Japanese people in our
Yeah,
home?
hey, I've had that with Stone Island as well. Just she comes back home and like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are all these Italians vaping in my home?
yes.
If, God forbid, your home was on fire, what's the one piece from your
Oh.
collection you would save? What's
That's
like the
good.
one grail?
I've got a original pair of 990s from 1982 that still has the $100 tag on it because that was the first shoe for that price, and that's probably
Thanks, inflation.
Yeah.
probably the one I'm going for.
Okay.
Wait, and is the archive like? Do you use that for creative inspiration, or is it just that you're a hoarder with a mental illness?
Well, bit of both.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
Yeah, I would say weirdly, I'm not like a sneakerhead in that sense.
Thank God. We would be talking to you if you were, dude.
It's a good point. But definitely a student of the game in terms of wanting to nerd over the history. And I kind of do that with anything, whether it's buying old record players or whatever it is, like understanding that history. And to design a new shoe, I always felt like for New Balance, I wanted to understand the history and the culture of it first before putting my own mark on it. Because really what I'm designing now and the brand's designing now will be the archive shoes in another
Right.
20, 30 years that we'll do bringbacks of.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to play that game and make sure that everything you put out is that quality that speaks to the brand.
So the hiking shoes and the trail running shoes from the 70s and 80s, do you have that in your archive and you went back to that to creatively begin the process of designing this shoe?
100%. Had them all out on the table, brought them into the office, sort of discussed it with senior leadership. And yeah, kind of designed from there. Took some of those lines, some of those details, and, you know, just things like the tread on the bottom links
Yeah.
back to that early hiking shoe, that aggressive thing that
Well
Lou
done.
Whitaker would
Yeah.
have
We
like
slept
climbed
once.
Everest in. So
We survived 3 hailstorms in these.
We did.
I saw some footage of
Yeah.
you guys
Can't
on
wait
the
to
beach.
see the
It's like-
results though.
It's like
Very painful.
lean,
We
the
owe you our
wind
life.
coming
You
in.
saved our life, honestly, dude.
Everything was soaked. Feet dry as a bone.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what we do.
Performance.
Made in UK quality
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
And also, I just want to say your wife sounds like a very patient woman.
Yeah, true.
All right, guys, it's time to ask you the last and most difficult question of the night.
Uh-oh.
What is the best pub in Manchester?
Where are we going for the afters?
Listen, it's my first time in Manchester. I don't know a lot about Manchester. I know that Flawed does great wines.
Flawed
That's
does
right.
great
Thank
wine.
you, Flawed.
Shout out Flawed for the
Keeping us
juice.
nice and lubricated tonight.
Sam?
This is probably one for the audience, really. I feel like those guys are gonna.
You got to
None
answer
of
the
us-
question.
none
We're
of
not
us-
talking to them.
What's the best pub in Manchester?
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
What?
How convenient.
Castle.
I
What's
kinda
one next door here? This one is like legendary, right?
Hey, the
Millstone.
Millstone.
You want some karaoke, man? They're running that all
fuck
day,
yeah.
every day.
All right, karaoke at 10:05 p.m. after we wrap up here. Thank you, New Balance. Thank you, Hip. Thank you, Flawed. Thank you to the whole staff that made this night possible. Thank you to you guys. And thank you to
Lee.
everyone that came out.
Sam.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you, everyone.
Thank you,
Give it
guys.
up for yourself.